Well, as promised, I've spoken too soon here. As promised, I'm going to take you outside and show you where I'm going to plant my tulips. Now, my tulips have all come from Crocus because I am an affiliate partner with them now. So I'm going to showcase what collections that they have on offer and some of them on what I'm going to plant in the garden. Now, we have got Storm Agnes coming its way to us today, and I may get hit by a bit of wind and rain, but we'll see how we go. So we're up against the clock, so I'd better get my tulip. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, we have a puppy missing, so all the puppies have gone now, and the boot room is back to normal, which is fantastic. It's such a relief. We're going to start in the house garden, which is the section that faces our house. So I'm going to bring you along with me this way. So this is what we call the south border within the house garden. And I have made myself a little list in a book, and it's always good to make a list of the tulips that you're buying and put them into somewhere safe that you can refer to. So often I have ordered a load of tulips, they all arrive, and I can't remember where I'm going to be planting them. So it's really useful to make sure you have them stored in a book or somewhere safe where you can come back to them, because when it comes to November and we're going to be planting, I've got somewhere that I can remember how I'm going to plant them and what varieties are going in to an area that I've decided on. Okay. So in this part of the garden here, I've decided to go for nice soft pink tones, and I also wanted to go for something of a drifting effect because of the shape of this lawn area and the shape of this border, how it curves round. I thought a nice romantic drift effect of tulips running along in here. Well, the weather's turned, but we're all kitted out for it. Tom's got a brolly, and I'm determined to show you where we're going to plant some tulips within the wall garden. So follow me. Now we're in the wall garden, we are going to use 4 different collections in different borders throughout the garden. We're going to be focusing mostly along the west wall here and along this wall. Well, it's within the front of this hedge here. We've not named it, but it's probably it's on the north side of the garden, but it does get some sunshine. So we haven't given it a name yet. We will do one day. So we'll start over here. The collection I'm going to use along here is the Magenta Red collection. And each collection comprises of 20 tulips. I'll double check that one. 20 bulbs. There we go. And I'm going to put 3 collections within here, but 1 collection here, 1 collection in the middle, and 1 collection near the end. They'll be sort of equally spread out, and what that will do is it will just lead the eye gently along this pathway. And it's quite a narrow bed, so they should fill a nice area altogether. And they look really, really pretty here. Looking forward to that one. So moving around here, we're going to do very, very similar thing here. Even though this border is a lot deeper, a lot of the shrubs tend to fill the back part of it. So again, we're going to use one collection, but 3 of them, and space them equally throughout the border. The collection I'm going to use in here is called Pink Chic, and there are 27 in each collection. So they're sort of nice soft pastely pink colours, which will be really quite dreamy and pretty. So you can imagine one collection here, one in the middle, and one nearer the pillars. And then that will gently take your eye further down to where the pillars are and lead you on to where the next collection will be. Now, when you get to this point, you might want to sit down, have a breather before you go further on to look at the other tulips. Now, when you stop and look over here, I've decided to have tulips against the yew hedge. So there's 2 borders over there, and I've gone for the frosted tulip collection. I think that's what they're called. So as you look over towards me, there are these 2 borders behind me that are against the yew hedge. Now, I've had tulips in them for years, but this time I've decided to go for whites and very, very soft pale lemon colours. So if you can imagine, as you hit that point where Tom's standing with the camera, you're going to have this beautiful flush against the green of the yew hedge. That's going to look absolutely beautiful. And it's called a frosted snow tulip collection. I'm also going to be planting amongst those tulips some very beautiful Erysimum, which is a wallflower, and that is a beautiful, again, a very soft lemony colour which fades to a very, very soft buttery colour as well. So as you move from the pinks, we come into more of the slightly more exotic and dramatic here. So the collections I'm going to use in here is the Persian collection. Beautiful, beautiful, nice tall sturdy tulips as well. And I'm going to do exactly the same as what I've done in Maggie's border and plant them in nice big groups just in front of the roses here. And then that will take your eye right to the very end of this border. So you'll have a nice effect that will draw the eye down and have that nice slight change in drama of the colours. And while I'm here, Tom's highlighted how beautiful these lovely Portuguese laurels are looking. How they just, again, take your eye down this long stretch of garden. You're quite proud of these, aren't you, darling? They do look really good. Now, because we're opening our garden on the 27th and the 28th of April, I've chosen tulips, hopefully, so that they will flower when we open our garden. So fingers crossed. So on these tulip collections, it says that they will flower in May time, but you just never know. I didn't want to take the risk of them flowering in April and then being over come the end of April. So I've taken a bit of a risk, but I'm hoping it will pay off. You just never know what the weather's going to do. So when you're choosing your tulips to go in your garden, you might want to go for more successional planting. So there are tulips that will flower earlier in the season and slightly later. So you've got a great window where you can have them flowering 1 month after the next. So you could have some flowering in the April and May. So what I'm going to show you now is what I've decided to plant in the trough and in another planter behind the house. And I've also got another area, so I'll take you over there next. And before we come out of the wall garden, you're probably wondering why I haven't planted a lot more tulips in here. The reason being is, number one, I don't have the manpower. And when you're faced Now you can imagine when you get your tulips and they arrive in the post and you have got, well, I will have hundreds coming in the post. And you need time and manpower to be able to plant all of them, which I don't have. So I've had to rein it in quite a lot and be realistic. And you've got to try and think about this when you're thinking of planting up an area with tulips. Always try and think how much time you've got. And just remember those November months when we start planting tulips, it's horrible, it's cold, it's darker, and sometimes you leave it. And you can leave it till December and as late as January if you dare. But I've just had to make sure that I'm being realistic about how many I'm putting in the ground. You can imagine there's a massive amount of area still to plant more and more tulips, and I could get completely carried away, but I'm not. I just want to give people a bit of a show when they come to our open garden at the end of April. So it's spreading the love and making sure there's pockets around the garden that have enough interest for people to see. So come on, let me show you the pots. While we are on the subject of bulb planting, 11 years ago, when the lime trees were starting to just knit together and establish, we took the framework away, which opened up space to plant underneath them. And what I did is I decided to plant a mass of the beautiful white Thalia narcissi, because the effect I wanted was a beautiful long mass drift of white, a sea of it, and you can imagine that looks absolutely glorious. And they will be out flowering when we open at the end of April as well, and I cannot wait. And that's partly why we timed our open garden for those dates, because fingers crossed, this area here literally takes my breath away, and I hope whoever comes to visit will take theirs away too. It's hard to imagine tulips in here, but I've gone for some nice rich colours. So I've gone for the Brandy Snap collection that provides all of that, but I'm also going to plant some Erysimum Fire King amongst them, so you get a real good blend of those nice rich tones running through. And also Erysimum will give me a much earlier show, way before the tulips come out too. So the dahlias will be taken out fully, tubers, everything, and I will take you through the process, the whole process of lifting the tubers, storing them, and also how I'm going to lay out the tulips at the base of the trough. Oh, roll on, May. Like I said before, I look at this planter as well as the bleached crab apples from my kitchen window, and I always look forward to seeing tulips in here. So the collection that I've got going in here is Venetian Sky. Does what it says on the tin. You've got the beautiful rich colours coming up through here. Again, I'm going to be packing them in, and I won't be planting anything other than tulips in here because I think I'm just going to go for the dramatic look that they provide in here. And these are the only tulips I'm going to have around the back of the house, because there's a lot of form and structure with the clipped beech and the bleached crab apples. Sometimes just one dramatic look is enough. So what I'm going to do is actually lift out these grasses completely. I can't remember the name of these grasses, they've been in for quite a while, but they could do with coming out and splitting, and then we will put in quite low down the tulips and split up these grasses quite a bit, and probably put them in pots actually. And once the tulips are over, I will then put some of these grasses back in. But I'll take you through all of that when the time comes. Whew. Well, that's it for all the bulb planting that's going on here. I'm going to make a list and pop it all in my description of all the collections that I've talked about today, so that you know exactly what's going in here. And I'll also put an affiliate link in to send you straight to the website to Crocus. They're running a 25% off discount on tulips and tulip collections at the moment, so, or even bulbs, I think. So you might want to go and have a quick look over there. I'd also like to thank you, darling Tom, for being my cameraman. Hopefully he hasn't been too wobbly. Right, well, thank you so much for watching today. I hope it's been helpful to you, and I will see you next week. Bye.